Vegan Geezer.
What's up?
Thank you for agreeing to be interviewed.
No worries.
Cool. So I've watched some of your videos and they're about veganism and how you became a vegan. What inspired you to promote them videos and get it out there?
Well, I think when you kind of make that connection with veganism, and you almost find like you stumbled across a kind of secret that needs to be communicated, and I almost felt compelled to share that really. And you know, I've got the gift of the gab, so I just felt the best way I could really spread that message without having to kind of shove it in people's face is kind of having a YouTube channel. So the beauty of YouTube is you can put your message on there, you can show your life and that, and it can just be at face value. People can either watch it or not watch it, and yeah, it's something you can be creative with as well, which I'm really interested in doing. I'm slowly kind of finding my voice and message and fine-tuning that. I just want to, you know, make the change. You know, I want people to kind of discover it just like I have, and kind of see that any old idiot can, you know, be vegan. There's no restrictions, there's no stereotype. Doesn't matter what shape or size you are, what background, what walk of life. Everyone can be vegan. It's just, you just need one thing, a heart.
Yay.
You can all be a vegan superhero.
Nice one. Let me zoom in on it. Nice.
Really nice and cozy. Look at the milk situation there. It's how like bubble gum. We've got almond milk, hazelnut milk, coconut milk.
From watching your videos, it seems like veganism is kind of the message for like how to create social change and like help the environment. Do you think that's the correct message I got out from that?
Yeah, I mean, that's ultimately what I want people to realise, that it is something that makes a fundamental change. A lot of people always say about the diet, because that is the area that's most affected in your life. You know, you eat 3 times a day, and then obviously there are other choices such as clothing and that as well, but it goes beyond that. It goes to kind of the grand scale of how the world is and how the world's kind of falling apart through deforestation and the oceans and the dead zones, and people are putting a time limit on how long we can actually sustain this planet this way. And also as well, I think, you know, it makes you feel better. No doubt, I've never felt kind of so alive and so passionate about something in my life, and for that to kind of spread, because it's awakened me to kind of see things a lot clearer. I see that, you know, I was eating meat, I was doing all of this stuff and causing all of this harm without any kind of conscious awareness of it. And now I've broken away from that. I see not just that clear, I see so much in life clear. I see some of the things like they're doing in government, the fracking and I can just see it objectively as something that's good or bad, not as what something is influenced by. Like someone tells you, no, eating meat gives you protein, and I just go, okay, well you say it, so therefore, no, I see that eating meat causes an animal to lose its life, not just because someone's told me, but just because I've seen it and it's black and white. You know, people can be curious and ask, you know, why you doing it? You know, I think it's a health or any other reasons. It's such a, you know, what people think a dramatic change. But
do you think that veganism found you rather than you finding veganism?
yeah, it definitely found it kind of found me on the my wife on the way to me. It was just her browsing through YouTube videos, and she watches one of Awakened Man, which is a compilation of all of the great things Russell Brand said, and that was made by a guy called Tim Sheaf, who linked to that was a video how I stopped eating meat. And that was this guy Tim Sheaf. He's a world champion at free running, parkour champion, and he's gone vegan, and he's, you know, he said in the best shape of his life and performing in the best shape of his life, and very much the timing of finding that. And since then a lot of stuff has happened to our life, namely actually meeting him at VegFest last year. I happened to be kind of walking looking for something, realised I was going the wrong direction, and as I turned I happened to see him sitting there. I thought, oh look, let's go and chat to him. We got talking to him, and then later on I looked on his Twitter, which I didn't really normally do, saw a link to a video, and in that video I watched it. He was talking about the Woodstock Fruit Festival in Hawaii. 2 days later I booked it, and then I've gone and met some amazing people and learnt so much amazing stuff, all of which I would never have kind of learned or never experienced unless I'd kind of seen him in that split second. Completely believe that these things happen for a reason. Yeah. Because maybe I've got a big mouth and that I'm confident at speaking and that I'm not afraid to kind of take on new challenges, that something like veganism is kind of perfect for me. Because I'm not afraid in my group of mates who have maybe kind of typified the stereotype of kind of London lads, we like a drink, we like football, let's go out, rah rah rah, and I've always been the same, to kind of not want to embrace veganism because it represents something which is maybe just different. even though logically there's nothing actually wrong with it because it makes complete sense, because it's different, people fear it so much. And maybe of all the people to choose, I'm someone who doesn't fear change. I'm not someone who is stuck on convention, and I'm someone who embraces change if it makes sense to me, and this does.
So it's like people are destined for things to happen to them?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so. There's a lot that's happened in my life, and I can point that's got me to where I am now. And I'm in a better place than I was, say, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, because of these different things that happened in my life. You know, I've been very fortunate, and I believe that I put positivity out there to get positivity back, but at the same time I believe that I'm on this path and I'm being guided by some alternate force in the universe that is kind of saying, well, you and your wife are good people, go out and push with this message, because it is happening and it is, you know, making change.
Yeah.
I guess if you were a big powerful being and you wanted something to push your change, you wouldn't go to the people who are going to be quiet about it. You'd want to go to the big mouth who's not going to be shy to shout about it.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm here with Tim Sheaf.
We've had the big election just now. I don't think any of them are vegan. So do you think, like, if the politicians, the people in power, there's lots more vegans in power, do you think the world would be a better place, or lots more change?
A better place.
Yeah.
They'd no doubt have battle with these big corporations and industries which benefit from the world not being vegan, because they earn money off the meat industries, dairy industries, and they can benefit from that being out, and they can benefit from people being iller, more dependent on pharmaceuticals, stuff like that. But with these people who are setting an example, for one, there have to be a lot of vegans to vote them into power, but for these people being there, they would be communicating. If they were vegans like I was, they'd be communicating why it's such a good idea to be this way and why it can save so many animals, and they'd probably be letting stuff like Earthlings go on air and Yorovsky speech and stuff like that, and communicating, and they wouldn't be allowing such bad advertising of, like, you know, McDonald's and all of this go out there and promoting bad health, because that's half the problem. We don't see bananas, fruit or eating healthy being communicated out there, because no one can earn from bananas, no one can patent bananas. So yeah, it'd be great if we had people out there, you know, essentially role models who were out there, instead of going, oh yes, we want to save money and kind of feeding you crap, telling you real stuff which can make substantial change. You know, the stuff like 5 a day and that's kind of come in as a balancer to kind of say, oh look, you know, we want you to get a bit ill, but let's not completely kill yourself. So yeah, put 5 a day in. Yeah, what about 50 a day, 30 a day? Because I eat loads of fruit a day, and I'm a lot better for that. But they don't push you that far because they don't earn as much money from that. So, you know, there are a few politicians in there, and surely they're going to start spreading the message, and surely it will only pick up. And people who are speaking out, James Cameron, for example, apparently he's making a whole school vegan, which is, you know, a great change. And, you know, he's a big voice, and there's a few other people out there who are being loud enough. Slowly on, there's a few UK politicians, I don't know if they're still in power. I voted Greens because they have policies which are completely aligned with my way of thinking. So, for example, they want to abolish factory farming altogether. They want to abolish fracking. They want to support the things that are really affecting climate change, which the #1 cause of the problems that we have with climate change is animal agriculture. So politicians in power, instead of kind of saying, you know, cut down on how much you drive into work and stuff like that, they say cut down on your own carbon footprint, stop eating meat, it's causing this much problem, close down factory farms, let's stop it altogether, let's abolish all animal cruelty. Politicians would definitely at least communicate that any sort of use of animals, whether it's entertainment, whether it's for the farming, for the meat, for the dairy, anything like that, they would want to abolish all of it. They wouldn't want to see them get used. Because it's so good, you have to have these. I've got 2 bags at the moment, I go for a bag a day sometimes.
So if you had the opportunity and the chance to go, hey, you can be Prime Minister, would you take it up?
Yeah, I mean, part of me, when you realise there is not as much change maybe going as much as your heart wants it to, you know, you want it to kind of happen quicker in your lifetime at least, there is part of you thinking, is there anything I can step out and change? And I've even had that thinking in the last couple of months, like, you know, would I want to step out and kind of be a person who speaks, not just to change things for veganism, but just to change things locally and the way things are run and the way people are kind of cheated out and how the rich are kind of supported a bit better than the kind of working class. And I've thought along that line. So yeah, being Prime Minister, I'd love to, you know, be in that position and recognise people of kind of all walks of life, and, you know, not let people who are in kind of rich power to kind of get away with not paying any tax. But more to the vegan point, I wouldn't want any sort of, you know, I want the world vegan, and I'd put things in place. I say, look, you know, I'll be fair for the people who are actually farming. Yeah, you've got this long to change the way you farm. Here's going to be your new product. It's going to be all of this, you know, great fruit and veg, which can feed everyone twice over. You don't have to do it with animals. You can still, you know, change your product line and earn as much money. And to cut that out and communicate and change the education system, kids be educated about how to feed themselves. People know how to grow their own food and actually independently look after themselves without having to kind of depend on the services which we put so much money into paying, and which are not really doing good enough, because, you know, they're subsidised. Well, they're not subsidised, but they're cutting back on them so much as well. So to kind of empower people as well, because we're also made to feel that we're dependent on all of these industries and stuff like that. You basically hear this, eat this Burger King, but when you're ill, don't worry, we've got you, we're going to get this and that, but they're still eating the Burger King. Don't, you know, rather than people saying, well, why don't you stop at the source and don't eat the Burger King, eat the fruits and vegetables, eat the actual healthy stuff, and then you won't have to worry about relying on medicine or anything like that. You'll be taking your life into your own hands. So just educating in that way, changing the infrastructure, changing the way things are, because the way things are not right. And we need someone bold in power who will actually communicate to people to empower them. Not to say, don't worry, listen to me, I've got everything. Say, here's the information you need, go with it and take control of your own life.
That'd be great. So what would your slogan be for voting you in?
I wouldn't even bother with a slogan, because it's all false kind of PR crap to kind of swing people in. I would just be honest and say, I'm a human being just like you. I've come from this life. I haven't come from private schooling. I haven't come from wealth. I've come from council housing. I've come from hard times. I've come from the working class. I still am the working class, and I know what it's like to actually overcome a challenge, and I know what it's like to live one way, suffer, and live another way and do better, and I want to communicate that change to everyone else. I wouldn't try and swing with any kind of false stuff. I would just be completely honest, because that's what it is all now. It's all false. It's all like, oh, you know, you see Nigel Farage going, I'm just a normal bloke. No, you're not. You're not normal. You're not like us. You've got, like, you were brought up in wealth.
Benefits there. You used a really good analogy on the Matrix about how we've been given this information on eating animal products, shielding us from the truth of all of their suffering to make us kind of go along.
How did you become vegan?
It wasn't on my radar at all. I never considered it. I never even started thinking about vegetarian. It was literally my wife who was watching some Russell Brand videos. She saw this one on Wanker Man, which is a compilation of all of the best stuff he said, and it was compiled by a guy called Tim Sheaf, who we knew nothing about. And she saw a linked video to that, Why I Stopped Eating Meat, which was a vlog by Tim Sheaf, explaining the benefits, the changes, and he's a world freerunner, world champion at freerunning 2 years in a row, and he's quite built, he's athletic, so for him to say, I don't need the meat anymore and I'm doing better this way, it kind of got my attention, and then got me thinking as well, because I then had a choice about an hour later after watching his video to go and have some lunch, and I had a voucher for Sainsbury's, and it was, do I kind of get this curry with meat or do I get this curry without meat? And I was just compelled not to have the meat, so I made a conscious choice, probably for the first time in my life, because we all fall into that lazy trend of going, well, what's it matter? And I've always been that my whole life. I've not really cared about the way I eat and what harm I do or what harm I do to myself and health. And then all of a sudden I was like, no, I don't want to eat meat. And I was discussing it with my wife, she was feeling the same. We dug a bit more and we found the Yourofsky speech, and after watching that, with the way he explained it all across the board about the health, about the ethics, about the alternatives, I just snapped and went, bang, that's all I need. And from then on, I didn't want to contribute. And we had a big transitional phase. We had a backlog. I had like so many UHT milks that home, which I thought, look, I'm not contributing anymore, I'm not worried about my body, that's not the concern here. My health is my responsibility, I just want to not contribute to the suffering of other animals, and I don't want to cause any more harm. So we went for about a 2-month transitional period, which was quite handy because in a way it was like I'm weaning myself off at the same time trying new stuff, and I'd be going to the supermarket looking at different labels, and I started then kind of finding that what was kind of I could have and what I couldn't have, and what kind of different alternatives. I started watching a lot more YouTube videos and find out different recipes, and I found that it wasn't so much that I had to change my diet. I was discovering a lot more new food, because it's like what you're communicating with food, you're cut off from finding out what you can really explore. Like I've made lasagnas which don't even have any pasta in there, they don't have any replacement kind of meat or anything like that. I just put in loads of different vegetable layers and some fake, you know, vegan cheese, and I thought, well, I'll call it what I want, call it lasagna, whatever, but no one tells you to explore that way. They tell you to eat a certain way, include your meat, include your dairy, otherwise you get sick. And it was great for me just to kind of be exploring and taking it into my, you know, own control. I was happy to kind of go, if I eat fruits all day, if I eat Oreos and toast and crisps and stuff like that all day, and if I get all from it, then so be it. That wasn't my concern. My concern was, why should my life be more important than that of a cow's in a field? I'm causing more harm than a cow in a field. A cow's not done anything wrong to get suffered. I've done more wrong, and I wanted to acknowledge that myself, and I felt no guilt in that. It hurt to know that I'd been living that way. It hurt to know what was going on, but that kind of inspired me more than scared me.
As with you, obviously looking back at different videos of yours, is that the kind of vlog style that you kind of put out now on YouTube all kind of started from your kind of vegan journey, from that why I stopped eating meat? Yeah. Or before that, it'd be different parkour, the story.
So do you have any tips for people that want to go vegan?
Yeah, I mean, don't be scared of it. Don't listen to the stereotypes. Make it your own. Don't be scared of what other people think. There's so much out there. Now is the age to be vegan. If you're afraid of missing out on your comforts of meat or ice creams or cakes or sweets or anything that you really enjoy right now, now is the age, because there are people out there, pioneers, who have made alternatives. And I can vouch, I've tried them all, and even though I don't feel that I need to have them, they are spot on. They get it so right. Because if you think about it, meat is kind of, you know, it's dead rotting flesh. And what people have to do, they cook it, they put salt in it, they season it. They add all of the stuff which is vegan, all the herbs, all of the vegetables. That is the stuff which kind of gives it the flavour. Otherwise, no one would eat dead flesh. So it's easy to recreate. All you have to do is recreate the texture, which is easily done. I've had the fake meats, I've had the kind of cheeses, I've had the other milks, and I've had the cakes. It's all there for you to have if you want it. And what you'll realise is that doesn't matter. But the most important thing is watch the videos, Earthlings, the Gary Yourofsky Best Ever Speech, Cowspiracy. Watch these ones and find out for yourself what is going on, because you're being lied to. And just for your own soul, just for your own honesty, just for your own life, just so you know where your food is coming from, look into these videos, find out what's going on, and find out why you're being lied to, and why you need to find out why it's best to go to this way of living, this lifestyle, because there's so much harm being done, and there's innocent animals dying that don't deserve anything of what they're going through. Especially milk. Dairy is the worst. That's like the hidden evil, as I call it. Find out that one.